Well, I know there's a lot of companies out there saying like, hey, if you've got a, I get texts all the time from people saying like, do you want to sell your MC number in your Amazon account? All right, let's get out of San 5, go hop on the freeway here at 5:45 and see what that border traffic heading north is looking like. Let's pull up here and see if the gate just opens for us or if somebody's gonna want to talk to us. Piece of cake. All right. I was debating on even recording anything. I'm tired. I've been out since, I think I left my house last night at 8. This is for sure gonna be my last load of the day. First time ever, I've made 2 videos in one night. The other one, you might notice I was a little self-conscious. I'm like, man, should I throw on a jacket, change my hat? I made a little video for somebody, just addressing people who are asking me about 16-foot box trucks with Amazon. So if I'm dressed the same and you're wondering about it, I absolutely am. 2 videos in one night, not bad. I wanted to touch on all the notifications I'm getting from Amazon lately. I mean, it just seems like I turn that thing on. If you're not familiar with the notification center, it's up in like kind of the top right-hand corner there. There is some important stuff in there. It's I try to stay on top of them. But if you're ever wanting to know like how I know what I know or where I get that information from, it's from the notification center. And there's been a couple in there. I feel like in the last 2 or 3 days, I turned it on the other day, got the notification saying, or from Amazon, like that I had to acknowledge that like the FMCSA is cracking down on English, and that like I had to acknowledge that. And I mean, that's fine. If anybody wants to test my English proficiency, I'll get down with them. I mean, that's I kind of look at that as like whatever. But they're letting us know that they're cracking down on that. And then I got a notification from them last night saying that a couple things that were interesting about it. One was like talking about their changes to like accessorials and everything. So I'll have to go into like the carrier terms of agreement and actually see like what they're talking about changing. I have more to add on that. I mean, just things that I'm seeing that I don't necessarily like, but it doesn't matter if I like them. It's the way that they're being done right now. But changes to accessorials. The other thing that stuck out to me was they're talking about the bank account information, and this I actually kind of support, that the bank account information has to match either the company name or like the primary beneficiary of like the account holder. So in other words, like Stat Trucking doing business with Amazon, they deposit that into an account that matches the company's name. Like I have no problem if they want to do that. But where I saw that being a potential concern, and I try to put information out there to like protect people. I know there's a lot of companies out there saying like, hey, if you've got a, I get texts all the time from people saying like, do you want to sell your MC number in your Amazon account? We pay $20,000, $25,000, $30,000. And it's like, if I were going to totally get out of the industry, like obviously I might consider doing that. Like it's just one of those things. But then it's like for the purchaser of that, and I know that these companies, if they're paying somebody like me I'm not considering it, but I'm just saying like if I were done with trucking, would I, like to milk out an extra $20,000, $30,000? Absolutely. I mean, I'm not, I don't think anybody could fault me for that. But, the concern then becomes the person who buys that. I mean, Amazon makes it very clear that like any transfer of ownership needs to be approved by them as in regards to your Amazon account. And you figure, let's say I sold you my, not necessarily the MC number, I mean, that would have to come along with it too, but like, let's say I sold you my Amazon account. Any work you did, obviously the default account would be, the default checking account would be my personal one. You would want to change that to yours. And, it just kind of adds another little layer of, I mean, I support what they're doing. It's kind of like a way to cut down on fraud, cut down on, illegal goings on. But anyway, just if you're considering buying an Amazon account from one of these Amazon account brokers that are obviously buying it from somebody like me and marking it way up, consider that. How are you going to, you purchase Stat Trucking. You purchase Stat Trucking's Amazon account. I'm not selling my business checking account. I mean, that's one of those things I'm going to close out. That's in my name. That's not, that's not for sale. So in other words, like it's adding like a layer of, I think, protection for them and kind of cutting down on fraud. But just something to consider if you're at all like not wanting to wait the 180 days and are just like, I'm going to buy an aged authority. That's something to consider right there. Is like, who cares if you buy an aged authority and it's got an Amazon account attached to it? How are you going to work out the financials of that? That's something to keep in mind. And the last thing, and I don't mean to make light of this. I mean, when I first saw it, it kind of made me laugh, and I'll explain why it made me laugh. But they sent out a notification saying that the purchase of commercial sex is not allowed while conducting business with Amazon. And I'm not making light of. I get sex trafficking. I'm not into the business of commercial sex, but it was just for knee-jerk value. It was like, it kind of made me chuckle. But then it was like, what made me chuckle about it was, it's like, I've had many jobs throughout my life. I'm 47 years old, and this is the first time where I've ever had to be told that, like, hey, don't buy commercial sex. I mean, I guess it just tells us where we're at. I mean, I'm a card-carrying member of the whole Truckers Against Trafficking thing. I signed up for that when I was first into this thing. I mean, it seems like they do like a noble cause, and if we can cut down on sex trafficking, I'm a big fan of that. But it's the first time I've ever had a job say, hey, by the way, don't engage in any commercial sex acts while you're working for us. All right, so I was waiting until right now to turn the camera on to show you how bad the traffic was, and not quite 6 in the morning, traffic's making a liar out of me. I usually don't come this way because usually this is backed up all the way to like the 54 where the 15 splits, and I'm getting by with one today. I wanted to bring up two kind of, I hate accusing Amazon of stuff, but two kind of conspiracy theories I'm beginning to like harbor inside of me, and it's just based off of stuff that I've seen. Again, it's stuff that I don't like, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I don't like it. It's my choice to continue to work for him. You're a good boy, Lou. You're a good boy. My choice to continue to work for him. So it's kind of like if I want to work for him, this is just what I'm having to put up with. I'm curious to hear from some of you, though, if you've seen this in your area. Conspiracy theory number one. It's kind of got me in the mindset of just like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to book these last minute loads. Because what I feel like they're doing is they'll put, if it's a load that's scheduled arrival time is like more than 5 hours out, and they put it on there for like a high dollar amount, like let's say even like a quick hop. It's typically these quick hops that are like, a Sand 5 to Dib 5 one way paying like $200, or like, they'll do like a round trip to Poway for $350. Okay, if it's 5 hours out and you book it, it sits in your queue, but then if you pay attention to the load board, it seems like what they're doing is then, as soon as that load's booked and they for sure have it covered, it seems like they're bundling that trip with a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's like, rather than just being point A to point B or A to B to A, now they'll throw in like 7 stops. They'll do it for a cheaper rate, and as soon as that load gets taken off the load board and somebody does book that, your high dollar load that you're reserving your time and the truck for suddenly gets canceled, and it gets canceled before the 2 hour window, so you don't get a tow new for it. So I feel like they're kind of, again, I hate to accuse them of stuff, but I feel like they're getting the main part of the load covered, and they're offering like a high amount for it. But then once that does get covered, then they try to like shop it around and see like, well, hey, can we get somebody else to do it for cheaper? I've had a couple loads like that happen where it's like, I know my area, and I know that like they don't typically send multiple loads to like a Dib 5, Dib 7 at the same exact time. They'll send them like a couple hours apart, 2-3 hours apart. That's fine. But you'll see a load that shows up that it's like, oh wow, that's going to Dib 5 at the same time I'm going to Dib 5. Dip 5's not a big facility, and then it's bundled as part of this bigger load. You see that load get booked, and suddenly yours gets canceled. So I want to know, are they doing that? And then conspiracy theory number 2, I feel like they have main moves that they're trying to get done. So like on the load I'm on right now, I'm going from Sand 5, doing a round trip up to DSD4, and I think I dropped the trailer off at like a Sand 3, Sand 5. This is like, this doesn't play into my conspiracy, but what my conspiracy is that I feel like on these, so the main move is doing a round trip to DSD4. That's undisputable on the load I'm on right now. But what they're starting to do, Lou, you have to behave, bud. You have to behave. I'm recording. And you're chewing the top of my DEF container. It's the trouble with traveling with a dog. The other thing is so imagine this load I'm on now, but imagine rather than having 3 stops, it has 4. And let's say that the first leg of it was doing like a simple little task, like a running from like a Sand 5 to Sand 3, and then starting the main part of it. What they're doing is they'll cancel the little tiny, the little, I'd call it like the fluff leg of that. Like that's not the main move, but they'll cancel that leg of it. And then rather than saying like, okay, well that was 1 mile, this load pays $4 a mile, and the fuel surcharge on that 1 mile was, let's say, $1. So rather than deducting $5, it's like they start doing crazy math, and they're like, well, we actually reduced 25% of the load, so we're going to reduce the payout by 25%. And I think they're doing that to essentially save. They're getting the main part run and saving 25% on it, rather than taking out the part that they canceled. So they're adding these little fluff legs, is what I would call them, is like, oh, you know, this is the main part of the move, but we're adding this little 1 to 2 mile fluff leg in there, and it's, you know, we reserve the right to cancel it, and when we do, we're going to reduce the payout, not by the amount for that leg, but like we're going to treat it as if it's like a third or a quarter of the whole trip, and they reduce the payout by that. It just, again, something I don't like, but it's what they're doing now. So this is what it's like for me traveling with a dog. I had the bed all made. He went back there and got all the blankets, all the sheets, and just kind of put them in a pile. I see he's got my safety vest back there, made himself a little nest, and we're just sitting here stuck in traffic, and he's back there just living his best life. All right, Lou, you made a nest out of my vest. I need that back. You can keep the blankets, you can keep the pillows, but I need this. I need this. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. We're almost done. We're gonna go home. You're a good boy. Oh, they're out here waiting for me. This never happens. Hello. Sorry, I didn't want to get out without my vest on.
Good morning.
How are you? Let's see here. Didn't want to get out without my vest.
And then you can tell Alex, who's pushing on table 5, to still non-con.
Okay, if you want to go ahead and drop in 104, please.
104?
And then you're going to take 102.
104, 102. We'll do. Thank you. Oh, and is it okay if I open up the back? I have the
Oh, you
tools to do
have
it.
to.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. You said you were going to open it?
I will open it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They tell us in the app to
No,
not, but
open
yeah,
it.
open it. Okay.
Thank you so much.
104, 102.
Yes.
Thank you. Lou, you're all right, bud. All right, they were out here waiting for me. That never happens. They're like, get out of your truck. I'm like, I'm putting on my vest. Dropping to 104, picking up 102. Have permission to open up the back. Let's get it done. In my haste to get up here, I didn't leave myself enough room to open up the back. So I'm gonna scoot the truck up a skosh and get this done. Not gonna lie, had a little trouble getting it in. I've never seen DSD4 this backed up. They've got that trailer with its landing gear bent, being held up by those jack stands. Notice where somebody wrote on here, no English, no CDL. Was not me. And then we got this trailer over here that's kind of leaning, sitting on blocks. It's kind of messed with my backing game here a little bit, but I don't want to get in there in case this thing shifts. It's probably not going to, but it's sitting there on wood blocks. But trailer's at 104. Time to go pick up the one at 102. So I'm heading out of DSD4. Fortunately, I'm going against traffic. I'm heading south right now, so I'll be back in Otay in like 25 minutes. If it's 6:45 right now, I will be home, getting ready to go to bed by 8 o'clock. So excited about that. Was kind of cracking up on this. I was looking at the navigation they want to send me, and they're insisting on me going down 805 to the 54 and getting on that 125. Now that they've implemented this whole PC miler thing, I covered that in a previous video talking about how I had always gotten, see what this guy's doing. You gonna go? Go ahead. I'm big and slow. All right. That kind of threw me off a little bit. I wasn't expecting him to come out, but hey, why not? Yeah, with this whole PC miler thing, they used to pay for tolls, and now it sounds like, I was talking to somebody from Baltimore the other day. They said that it's been implemented there for a while. It's just come onto my radar here recently, and it's basically where they say like, hey, the fuel surcharge is meant to cover part of the fuel and all the toll costs. We're not paying back tolls anymore. And it's kind of like, why are you sending me out of my way to pay? If I didn't have the transponder on the truck, it'd be $7. The fact that I have the transponder on the truck, I pay $5.50. But why are you sending me out of my way to spend $5.50 of my own dollars that you have no intention of reimbursing me for? So, not gonna fall for that. I tested that hypothesis. It always worked, and it just so happens that I kind of caught it when they started implementing that here in San Diego. I'm excited to be done. It's kind of a long night for me, and I'm gonna head home. I know I didn't cover a ton of my night tonight. I was doing that 16-foot video earlier and kind of was in the mood of like, I got one more in me, so that's what I'm doing now. But appreciate you taking the trip with me. Hope this video serves you well. Take care.